Hi everyone, so this video I'm going to be testing out the illo Sketchbook, and I hope that's how you say it. It's a sketchbook that's been getting a little bit more popular. I've been seeing a lot of people using it and I've wanted one for a while, and I got 2 of them for Christmas, and I thought it'd be cool to do a video testing them out in case anyone is considering getting one and wants to know how the paper takes certain media. So basically what it is it's a square sketchbook. It has this like nice faux leather sort of soft feel to it. It's square, has a little logo here. The pages are white. They're very, very smooth, almost like Bristol board level smooth. And there's a pocket in the back, and there's an elastic band, and there's also a ribbon that can be used to kind of hold your place. Also, please ignore how dirty my hands are. I have like red ink all over this and like Conte all over my hands. It's just not, I just can't get it off. So please ignore that. I'm just gonna like do very simple drawings so it doesn't, just do like a random, really simple face. Just to show you the watercolor situation. The first thing that I don't like, especially for watercolors, this is just so smooth, and watercolor kind of needs a little bit of texture, otherwise it's going to look super blotchy, because the more textured your water is, the less, like you'll see less of that blotchiness, like it's easier to get it smooth if it has more texture, and this does not have any. So, and also, if you kind of scrub it like this, it starts to dissolve the page a little bit. It's just not really meant for watercolor, but you can do washes. If you let it dry and you don't like do it like a watercolor painting, you do it like you're trying to just add color, I think it works fine, but don't expect to do like watercolor paintings because it's just not gonna work that well. You could always like glue in watercolor paper, but you can do that with any sketchbook. Like it works okay, it just doesn't, like there's worse paper out there, like it doesn't buckle too much. Like that's all fine, it's just the way the watercolor looks and how it behaves on the surface is something I don't really enjoy. But every other media I've tried has been pretty great, so I'm gonna just do some sketching. Anything that's like ink or marker works really well because it's very smooth. I've did a page recently. I just sketched a couple of things with this like red pen, because I just like doing that because it's just such a bold color, it's fun to use. So that works fine, like anything like that is great. I recently got these Ohuhu markers. I wanted to do a video about them, but they have a lot of colors and I've just been having a lot of fun using them. Water-based markers are just inherently difficult to use because they're very blotchy, but I've been loving them on this paper because they don't bleed through, and it's just really nice to use them. Like they just lay down very smooth, and I like it a lot. Except for, like, see how it's kind of blotchy there? That's just the nature of water-based markers, but I still really like, I don't mind it. Like, it's fine. It's better than having everything bleed through to the other side, like alcohol markers would do. I think. I haven't tried them yet, but I'm going to. Probably could have colored that better so that it wouldn't have been blotchy, but I'm going to try to work into the watercolor a little bit more so you can kind of see what it can turn out to be if you like add a lot of pigment and stuff. Like once you start to kind of lay down washes, it just takes on this immediate sort of blotchy texture, and this looks really bad, but it kind of shows the point. I'm gonna show you pencil, because I think pencil is just like really nice on smooth paper sometimes. I always default to drawing cats just because I'm like, what do I draw? A cat. Okay. I guess the reason why I draw cats so much is because I'm trying to kind of like perfect drawing them because they're still not that easy for me. But see how you can get this nice like smooth pencil, like especially there, it just works out nicely. Drawing frogs is always a lot of fun. If I lightly shade them in, it's like this nice smooth, like if I went slowly I could make some nice like gradients and make it all smooth with the lines, like smooth with some like cross-hatching sort of texture in there. And since pencil works really well, like pencil crayon obviously does too. It's the same sort of thing where you can get like a really nice smooth texture. Whenever I can get something very smooth, I like to kind of add in texture by doing like lines in areas. Because I don't like it to be like fully smooth. I feel like that's too consistent of a texture. It gets kind of boring, I guess. But like dry media in this would work basically as well as it would work on like very smooth paper. It's that sort of thing. So if you like more textured paper, this probably isn't the sketchbook for you because it is very smooth. It's the smoothest paper I've had. It kind of reminds me of Moleskine sketchbook paper a little bit, but I honestly prefer it much more to Moleskine. I'll show you some of the other things I've sort of done in here just so you can get an idea. Pencil. This was watercolor pencil and marker, I'm pretty sure, yeah. These are just like experimental stuff. Pencil, I love pencil crayon in here. More pencil crayon marker. And that looks wonky. Some stuff looks wonky, but it's a sketchbook. What do you expect? A lot of it is wonky. See this watercolor? Okay, these aren't the best. I don't like them. But see how it's very, just very blotchy and it bleeds everywhere and you can't really get a definite line. It's probably the way I'm doing it also. That's probably part of it. But you can like feel the watercolor. Like it doesn't really have much to absorb into. So I guess that's probably why it doesn't really look too good. And here's some more marker stuff. I love using white paper because things just kind of appear brighter and it's easier to take a photo of something with white paper for like Instagram. It's not pure bright white. Like I'll show you. You can see it's a little bit yellow, but it's still pretty light. I'm gonna try this with Copic markers, but I'm kind of afraid it's gonna really bleed through. So I'm gonna put some paper underneath, behind it, right there. Alright, I'm gonna do some swatches of some different colors. I'm gonna really saturate this one. I'm gonna really saturate that one. If you're filling in an area, probably be like that. I have a feeling it's gonna look very smooth. I actually see a little bit of bleeding. Not the sharpest edge, so it does bleed a little bit, like in the paper. But I don't know if it's going to bleed to the other side. Most likely, yeah, it definitely is. Okay, so Copic markers, you can see it's bleeding through to the other side. Even with the lightest strokes, it bleeds through, and it also comes on out the other side if you really saturate it. So I would be careful with Copic markers. It's not really one of those amazing, highly engineered, thick sketchbooks made to not bleed through with alcohol markers. It's probably better with water-based markers because those don't bleed through at all. You can see there, I use a marker here and it's not bleeding through. I'm gonna finish off this video just by doing a bigger drawing because I feel like that's more interesting than me just talking about a sketchbook. So I'm gonna just sketch on this page and then I will give my final thoughts about the sketchbook. I always draw like people, animals, stuff like that. So I want to get better at just drawing like environmental aspects, but also mixing in other stuff with it. So I'm just going to draw this like rocky pillar with some kind of animal. Maybe just like a little bird on top of it. I haven't drawn a bird in a while. And that way it's a little more fun than just a pillar. I think I'm going to make the birds blue. That's too dark. The thing about markers is it's hard to find like lighter versions of the colors. The beak won't be blue. I guess maybe there'll be like a bit of a bright light coming from this side. Maybe. I don't really know. This is kind of a good mid-tone. Let's just... I feel like it's important to also draw stuff that you don't find fun, but then try to make it fun for yourself so that when you actually draw it, people can kind of look at it and be like, oh wow, this person had fun with the entire drawing. Like, you can tell they really cared about each and every part, because none of it really looks like it was a chore. So it, at the very least, draw it more just to get better at drawing the things that you really don't like to draw. I like markers because it kind of gives some like overlay sort of effects, kind of like when you do digital art. I think that's really cool about it. Might want to do a bit of outlines. Or maybe I'll outline with these markers because they're actually double-ended, which is really cool. The marker sketches I do always end up being too saturated just because markers are very saturated. You can't really control that. You just kind of have to use the colors that you have. I wonder what these birds would look like bigger. It's like a generic bird shape. Try to render it better with markers. These are basically the quality level of Crayola, but easier to apply because of the brush nib, and they're just juicier. One last thing I want to try for all you charcoal people out there. I have some Conte here, and I just want to see what it looks like and how much it smears. Okay. It probably smears more than it would on paper with more tooth, because I feel like paper with more tooth would kind of lock it into place a little bit more, but that was just Conte trying out like more powdery mediums. Oh, I didn't even try out gouache, did I? Gouache and acrylic paint would probably behave similarly. I feel like it would definitely be totally fine on this paper, but I'm gonna do a little test. Like, what happens if we water down gouache? I feel like it would be totally fine because this paper reminds me of the moleskin paper, and gouache was pretty good in that. I somehow like this paper more than the moleskin one, but I already said that. It works well when it's opaque, but when you start to water it down, it kind of gets that look that watercolor did when it's a little bit blotchy and unpredictable, but gouache, you can use it opaque, and the pages really don't buckle too much in this. It's been really good with buckling, like it dries very flat, so that's a plus. When it's wet, it buckles a bit, but then it dries pretty flat, so this is a pretty solid sketchbook. It's not like amazing, highly super recommend this, best sketchbook ever, but it's really good. I like it a lot. I'd probably keep using it for a while. I have 2 of them, so I'm very excited that it works well with the media that I like to use. This is very smooth paper, so keep that in mind. So I hope if you were considering getting this sketchbook, you know a little bit more about it. So I really hope you enjoyed watching me sketch. At the very least, if you weren't interested in this sketchbook, maybe you just enjoyed watching me sketch. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.